What's the most over-the-top fake relationship you've ever staged? My family kept asking who I was bringing as my +1 to my sister's wedding, and every time I'd roll my eyes and say I was going solo. But honestly, I was 26 and the only single person left in my entire extended family. This wedding was going to be a nightmare. My mom seated me at the kids' table, since you don't have a date anyway. My aunts kept making pitying faces. My cousin Sarah offered to set me up with her dentist's divorced brother, who has a good job and only 2 cats. The final straw was when my sister asked if I wanted to be in charge of the guest book since I'd have nothing else to do during the reception. I was about to become the family charity case at my own sister's wedding. That's when I hatched the most insane plan of my life. Mario was my college roommate who could become literally anyone. This guy could convince you he was a NASA scientist or your long-lost cousin from Ireland. After graduation, he moved to Chicago doing improv, barely scraping by on ramen. When I called him with my absolutely unhinged idea, he was quiet for a terrifying moment, then burst out laughing. You want me to pretend to be your boyfriend at your sister's wedding? Not just any boyfriend, I said. I want you to be so impressive that my entire family questions their life choices. We spent 2 weeks creating the most elaborate fake identity in human history. Mario would be Alessandro Romano, an Italian chef who just sold his restaurant chain to Gordon Ramsay for 7 figures. Mario memorized entire cooking encyclopedias until he could discuss molecular foam like he'd invented it. We bought him a custom suit that cost more than my rent, got professional business cards printed, and rehearsed our how we met story until we could recite it in our sleep. The day of the wedding, Mario picked me up in a rented Maserati, speaking in an Italian accent so smooth it could melt gelato. When we walked into the church, I watched my family's brains completely short circuit. My mom literally dropped her purse and ran over like Alessandro was the Pope himself. When I introduced Alessandro Romano, he kissed her hand and told her in this heart-stopping accent that I was la perla più preziosa del mondo. My dad, who'd never shown interest in anything besides football, was suddenly grilling him about wine investments. My aunts were practically swooning, and my judgmental cousin Sarah was taking notes like she was interviewing him. At the reception, Alessandro became a living legend. He danced with my grandmother and had her laughing so hard she nearly choked on champagne. He discussed wine regions while casually mentioning his little vineyard in Tuscany. When the DJ played That's Amore, he swept me onto the dance floor and sang along in perfect Italian while every woman stared in pure envy. But the moment that broke the internet happened during the speeches. My sister's maid of honor made some cruel joke about how miracles do happen and even the most hopeless cases can find love staring directly at me. The entire room went silent. Alessandro's face went ice cold. He stood up slowly, took the microphone, and delivered the most devastating speech in wedding history about how true love recognizes brilliance that others are too blind to see while maintaining eye contact with the maid of honor the entire time. The reception exploded. People were crying, applauding, and my mom was already calling venues for our engagement party. Then everything went completely off the rails. My sister's photographer cornered us during the bouquet toss, practically hyperventilating with excitement. She'd been eavesdropping all night and wanted to feature Alessandro in the city's biggest lifestyle magazine as the most eligible bachelor in America. She was already planning a 12-page spread and talking about book deals. Mario's eyes went wide with pure terror, but he didn't break character. He smoothly explained that he was moving to Italy next week to open a restaurant for the Vatican and would be unreachable for months. After the reception, Mario and I sat in the hotel parking lot, still in our ridiculously expensive outfits, laughing like maniacs while having simultaneous panic attacks. We'd created the performance of the century, but now my family thought I was dating Italian royalty. The aftermath was pure chaos. My mom called every day asking when Alessandro was proposing. Random family members started asking if Alessandro had single friends or business opportunities. My cousin Sarah literally asked if she could invest in his restaurants. I'd accidentally created a cult following for a person who didn't exist. But here's the plot twist nobody in a million years saw coming. 8 months later, at my cousin's engagement party, still dealing with the Alessandro aftermath, I met Marco. He was actually Italian, actually a chef, and when I confessed the entire insane story, he laughed so hard he nearly choked on his wine. We've been together for 2 years now, and Mario's going to be the best man at our wedding next spring. Turns out the most elaborate lie of my life led me to the most honest love I've ever known.